Welcome to the Intel booth at CES 2015. They have so much here. It is so completely saturated in gadgets and gizmos and technology that I couldn't possibly go over all of it with you. The couple of things that I want to focus on are the innovations from the maker movement that Intel is participating in with their Edison technology, as well as the RealSense technology, which is all kinds of motion tracking and a whole bunch of stuff. But first, let's talk about the maker stuff. So when we walked up to the booth, I was already a little bit familiar with their maker contest because they had a bunch of videos on it as these small companies, these small startups have been using Intel Edison technology to innovate. And the first thing we looked at was called Blocks. And Blocks is a wearable, so a smartwatch, that actually allows you to customize it with different links. So they have a link that's a sensor for a pedometer or a sensor for a heart rate monitor. The next thing we looked at is called Baby, and what this does is actually, it's a solution to a problem. So prenatal care doesn't really allow for mothers to have much contact with their infants, and they have proven that more contact is actually better for premature babies in their development. So what they've developed is a small, it looks like a turtle, for the mother to wear, and it transmits all of her biometric data, including her smell, directly to the baby who is inside their incubator by a gel pad. Incredible stuff. The next thing we got to look at was called Open Bionics. Now this is a revolutionary 3D printing company, or a company that is working with 3D printers to develop actual bionic hands for people who are born without them or have lost them to amputation. So through sensors, they are able to create a motorized hand that can actually open and close just using muscle twitches off of the person wearing it. Additionally, they used the RealSense trackers to scan the person that they were building each appendage for. Now this really speeds up the time to just, they estimated about 48 hours to create an arm or a hand for somebody. Whereas before, someone needed to take a mold and then the mold needed to be shaped and all kinds of process. I forget how long they said it would actually take to do it, but it was definitely like more than a week turnaround time. So this is actually helping people get into their prosthetics much, much quicker. The last thing we got to look at was called a smart clip. Now what this is a clip that actually goes into an infant's car seat that links with an app on a smartphone to alert a parent if they have accidentally left their child in the car. Now this sounds like something that most people wouldn't do, and it isn't, but sometimes it can happen to anybody. You're out of your routine, things get busy, an emergency happens, draws your attention, you forget that your child is actually still in their car seat. So this has a proximity sensor in it that will tell you, hey, you've gone too far from the car and your child's still in it, which is excellent. They're actually working with car seat manufacturers now to make this a more common feature, something you can actually purchase when you purchase the car seat. And I thought all of these innovations were really, really fantastic. Now the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was the Intel RealSense technology. In addition to all of the great 2-in-1s and tablets and gaming machines and everything, it's just really overwhelming here, but we did get to experience RealSense, which is Intel's contribution, if you will, to the VR realm. So they're using virtual reality and augmented reality basically in their sensors. So they have a camera, say on a tablet or a 2-in-1 or a notebook, and it'll have an IR projector, an IR receiver, as well as an RGB sensor and camera, so that it can actually detect you as a 3D thing. And it can tell the difference in facial structures and movement and eye movement and hand movement. It's an amazing real-time motion tracking technology that has almost limitless applications. They are using some with Oculus Rift over there to allow 4 people to play volleyball together. They also have the ability to create avatars where you're, say, a pug. I got to be a pug for a little bit today. It was interesting. Also, they have this awesome RealSense technology tunnel where you got to interact with different types of media through motion, and you could actually just see your hands and throw snowballs and really, really interesting stuff. But what I'd like to know is, what do you guys think? Where do you see RealSense being most useful? How do you think this technology is going to better not just gaming, but also other real-world applications. So take a look at what we did and let us know in the comments below.